like archive purposes. But what is up? It's your boy Buff Lars, and today I'm going to be doing a Lars guide because some people have been asking me on how to play this character. I've been trying to record a video on this and it hasn't really been going well, so I'm just going to stream myself doing this. I felt like it would be easier this way, but to get that out the way, so you want to play Lars. If you're going to play Lars, you need to know what he's good at and what he's bad at. So Lars is a character, he can basically do everything. He has great pokes, he has very good movement, he has lows. His lows aren't really the best, but he's got lows. I mean, like, his lows are okay, they're just mostly launch punish. Yeah, what's up, Soul? I'm basically just doing this guide for archive purposes because I've been trying to record myself doing a guide and it hasn't been going well, so I'm just doing like a stream, like a quick little stream. So yeah, but yeah, Lars, he has good pokes, down forward 1, jabs, down back 1, neutral down 4. His lows, like I would say, like his best lows are all launch punish. So like down back 4, launch punish, down 1+2, launch punish, slide, launch punish. I'm definitely 4-4-4-3 or dynamic entry 4-3, launch punish. So like you get the point. His lows, they're okay. I wouldn't say they're like amazing. Great punishment, like 14 frame launcher. It's got arc blast for 15. He's got 4-2-4 for 12 frames. Got shoulder for 13. 2-1s is 10 frame. I probably should have did that from 10 and up, but that's my bad. So yeah, 2-1, 10 frame. 4-2-4, 12 frame, shoulder 13, but you don't really need the shoulder for 13. It's more like a move that you just like throw out to get people off you. Forward back 2-1s is 14. The only issue with this move is that it's not really good at punishing. Well, it's good at punishing obviously, but on reaction it's kind of hard because it's a forward back motion. It's good, you can like reactively punish with this move against strings, but if you're trying to like launch punish jack down 4-2, I would just take the safer route with 4-2-4 instead of doing forward back 2-1, because this is launch. Forward back 2-1 is minus 18 or like minus 20. It's launch punish. That's all you need to know. So yeah, and then you got arc blast. Arc blast is 15 frames. Everyone knows this move. It's only minus 13, so you don't get punished too hard for it. It used to be 14 in season 1, but they changed it in season 2. Outside of that, I don't think you need to know anything past 15 for standing punishment. It's a crouching punishment. Yeah, wall standing. Yeah, wall standing 4 for 11. Wall standing 2-1 for 13. While standing 1, I think is 16. Just like if you block a low that staggers them, then like while standing 1. So yeah, that's his 3. Like while standing 3, not really. Don't even worry about that for block punishment. It's not really the best. Still haven't found a use for this move yet, but we're gonna find something for it. This is like +7 on block, but block punishment, not really a good move. So that takes care of his block punishment. Whiff punishment, that's the other thing that's good about Lars. His whiff punishment is really solid. Like back 3-4 has fantastic range. This is one of the few moves that can punish moves like Pulse, Death Fist, Jack's down forward 1 string if he finishes it. Like if it has, this is like 17 frame startup though, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, this move great is easily his best whiff punisher. Mid high. This used to be minus 12, but then they made it safe, but you can duck the second hit. So try your best to use this as a whip punisher. I wouldn't just blindly throw this move out in neutral because they can duck it. But like if you want to take that route, then you're gonna have to mix up your options, and that's where back 3 and the silent entry comes into, but I'll get to that later. So like yeah, his best with Punisher for range, back 3-4. Down 4-2-1's pretty good at whip punishing. Like if you do like side step down 4-2-1, it's pretty good. Arc Blast has some deceptive range. The range is pretty solid for an Arc Blast. It's pretty solid on whip punishment. Like you do like a down forward one into a backdash, they press a move, it whips. Arc Blast works. So you got like Arc Blast, back 3-4, down 4-2-1. Down back 2-1 is pretty good. This is like one of his best pokes. It's like +5 on hit, so it's still your turn. And they can't really do anything as a response unless it's like AOP or a parry, you know, stuff like that. Yoshi Flash. But down back 2-1's pretty good. It's like a good like range 1 with punish. Back 1, it's just like a good keep out slash like with punish move. I would say that's what you mostly need for like with punishment. Yeah, I would say that's probably like his best moves for with punishment. Going into pokes, how do I feel about like what his best pokes are? So like I was saying it briefly before, but like he has great jabs, like 1-2 jab. This is -1 on block, and on hit is like +7. And then 2-1 also a great poke. It's -5, so you can't really do much after you do it, except for it's either you do 2-1 and do nothing, or you do 2-1 and high, or 2-1 mid. They can duck the third hit of the high, and they can't like they can still like I think you can still fuzzy or like option select both options. But like the season 3 buff was that is a counter hit launcher now, so like you can't. I fucked it up. So yeah, obviously counter hit launcher. So yeah, that was a big buff that he got for season 3. So yeah, 2-1's pretty good. Down back 2-1's good. Great. This is a great poke because you can just throw it out. It's like -7, so you throw it out, you just block, or like you throw it out and you want to be the guy that just ducks after a safe move. Yeah, you can take that route too. But yeah, down back 2-1's good. I say back 1's a good poke because like it's homing, it's fast, stops the opponent from stepping you, obviously, but like it's safe. Like I would say this is a poke because you know like you can just throw the move out. There's no real risk involved. Unless you're just like throwing it out from like 2 backdashes away, trying to go for keep out. So we got jabs. We got back 1, down back 2-1. His best low pokes are easily down back 1, down 4, and down back 4. For me specifically, down back 4 is what I do the most. Not intentionally, but like down back 4 has crazy range. Like look at the range on that. Basically it's almost 2 backdash lengths. That's like how far it reaches, and it's it's +5 on hit, so still your turn. Obviously down back 1 is -1 on hit, and even if you do down back 1-3, this is a natural hit string, so like if the low hits, the high will also hit. That's also -1. So basically, if down back 1-3 hits or down back 1 hits, you should probably just go for a side step or a backdash. It's probably your best option. Or you could just block. Or if you think the opponent's gonna like, if you've been like testing the opponent a lot with down back 1, you could go for down back 1 into wall standing 2. And when that happens, like if they go for like a jab or a magic 4, wall standing 2 will crush it because wall standing 2 has crushing properties, so just keep that in mind. When down back 4 hits, it's still your turn, but Lars is in crouch, so like your best options after down back 4 is you could do wall standing 2-1 or down back 4 wall standing 2, and it's only like -5, -6ish on block, but like sometimes people get caught pressing and they get hit by the second hit, but you could maybe steal a turn after doing while standing 2 because they know there's a second hit to the string. Or you could do down back like the other thing is that if they're pressing a button after down back 4, while standing 2-1 will it's a counter hit string, so like both hits will connect on counter hit. Yeah, set the guard off. Okay, yeah. So keep that in mind. And the buff it got for season 3 was that they buffed the frames on it on hit to +3, from +3 to +5. So like, you hit the opponent while standing 2-1 just in general on crouch block punishment, or them pressing a button at their down back 4, it's still your turn. Because the one issue before of Lars that I noticed when I was playing him in tournament and stuff, I would hit my opponent while standing 2-1. I'm +3, and then I would go for like a down 4-1. And sometimes my opponents could still sidestep me afterwards, or still challenge me at times, because Lars doesn't really have fast counter hit buttons that you could challenge with prior to this season. So that was one annoying thing about while standing 2-1. But now that it's +5, the opponent can't do anything really, so they just gotta hold that frame advantage on your side. So that was a lot I just said right there. But you got down 4, neutral down 4, good poke, and I think that pretty much covers it for his pokes really. Like he's got a decent amount of low pokes, down back 1, down 4, down back 4. That's all you really need really for low pokes. And then you got down 4-1. This is down 4-1's -1 on block. So this is obviously his best poke, because down 4-1 into -1. You could do down. Basically, depending on the matchup, if you're fighting a character that doesn't have an 11 frame magic 4, you could just play around that. Like Claudio's magic 4, I think, is 13 frame startup. So you could do like down 4-1 into jab, and if they tried matching 4-3. It'll interrupt. And the buff that he got this season with his jab is that 1-1-1. This is now a counter hit string. Like as like 10, he basically has a 10 frame counter hit string, fully guaranteed. So it's a knockdown, pushes him away, basically resets the neutral. But the great thing about this is that if you're doing like down 4-1s into sidesteps, and they want to challenge your sidestep, they're like, this guy's stepping me a lot, let me throw out a homing move. That's when we do down 4-1 into jab, and when they do a homing move, they eat that. So they eat that damage, they get knocked away. So then you probably have the life lead, and Lars is good at just spacing out the opponent because he has really good movement. But even better when you're pressuring the opponent at the wall. Let me switch stages, because Infinite Stage is not the best example for here, but 1-1 times 3 basically splats the opponent on the wall on counter hit. So a lot of times you can set up just splatting your opponent at the wall pretty easily. Excuse me. But like I was saying with the down 4-1 into 1-1-1. If you catch the opponent pressing, then they're going to get splatted on the wall, and then you can just do whatever you want after that. So switch positions. Okay. Oh, but you can obviously jab them. I keep doing the wrong move. All right, 4-2-4. And then you see right there, I tried doing a 12 frame move, I got splatted at the wall. So yeah, 1-1-1, great move, great move. So I've talked about his punishment, I've talked about his pokes. I guess talk about like my thought process when I'm playing the neutral game. So a lot of people like ask me about this, and I don't really. It's kind of hard to explain playing neutral with Lars, because you don't want to do anything. You don't want to commit to anything big with him, because you don't need to. Because he can get in pretty easily. Like, he doesn't have a Mishima wave dash, but dynamic entry is his own. You know, like, is his own Mishima wave dash. So getting in with Lars, it's not hard. He can cancel this. He can cancel into a block. You know, you just have to be mindful of your inputs, because you can get blown up for it if you're careless with your inputs. And then, even with creating space, like Lars, he's kind of like I know Alyssa can do it. I know Nita can do it. I think Yoshi can do it, but like he can do a somersault backwards. I think it's just like back up back. Yeah, it's back up back. So if you have the life lead, what I do a lot when I have life lead, I just like somersault back a little bit. I kind of mess around with like approaching, and then I'll somersault back out if I have the life lead. Just like get the opponent mindful. I wouldn't say do the somersault a lot because you get floated in the air when you do it. But like if you time it right, you can do it. Don't do it when you're right in the opponent's face, because most of the time you're gonna get hit. Sometimes I do it when they're approaching me and they whiff. Like this is really good at making the opponent whiff when you're like spaced out here. Like if you're spaced out right here, like this is like range 2 I guess, and they're approaching you, sometimes I'm like backdash into this, they whiff, and then like back 3-4, you know. So it has its uses, but the neutral game, it's nothing really complicated with Lars. I mean, like down back 4 is great in a neutral game because it has all this range. So like you can just like hit the opponent with down back 4 a few times. They get a little frustrated. They want to challenge you. Hit them while standing 1, or like you hit them with the new full crouch down forward 2. The only real good use for this move is basically telling the opponent they can't press after down back 4 or solid entry 2, because solid entry 2 got buffed to +5 on hit instead of being +3 on hit now. So yeah, like solid entry 2 puts the opponent at crouch, you're +5, so they can't press after that. If they really want to challenge you, then they're going to get hit by that. So I would suggest, I would say, if you're fighting someone and you don't know if they know the matchup, the best way to test a matchup, you hit them with down back 4, go for full crouch down forward 2. If they're pressing right there, then they're not respecting you. Once they start respecting you, or if you see that they're not pressing anything after getting hit by down back 4, that means they're respecting you, obviously. So then you can start doing like down back 4 into a quick side step down back 4, if I can do it. And down back 4 high crushes is a counter hit launcher too. So like this is down back 4 is easily one of Lars' best moves because counter hit launcher, it high crushes, really good at keep out. Like his down back 4 stops a lot of keep out attempts because of the crushing properties. And even when you do like down back 4 into a side step down back 4, they can't really respond with everything. If I said that right, well, actually, it doesn't matter because they're putting crouch anyway. I was thinking more of a situation if they were standing and I went for it and they tried jabbing, I would still crush them. But down back 4 puts them in crouch. So disregard what I just said right there. So yeah, down back 4, definitely one of his best moves in a neutral game. When you're approaching with dynamic entry, you can do like dynamic entry 1. This used to be -3 on block, but now it's -1 on block. So same thing with down forward 1, -1 on block. So you could just keep doing this and sidestepping, or like do this into a down forward 1. The opponent's like, he's doing this into down forward 1 a lot. I should challenge him with a magic 4. Well, you challenge me with a magic 4, 1-1-1, boom. It's the same thing. So yeah, this is -1 now, and down for 1, -1 now. So those are two things you can like do if you like sidestepping a lot. You just bait them into the 1-1-1, or do down forward 1 into sidestep 2. Lars has a sidestep 2. Knockdown, stop is guaranteed. Is one of the moves that I don't do a lot, that I need to do more, because I see Asuka get so much yardage with doing sidestep 2, and like I don't know why I don't use this move more. So yeah, I would say mostly like the neutral game, just keep moving around. You don't want to be standing still, because I think that's when Lars is at his most vulnerable state. And the thing with dynamic entry is that season 2 change was that dynamic entry can go into silent entry. So, well, I should probably talk about his stance moves first before I just hop into silent entry. But so dynamic entry has Den 1, which is -1 on block. He has Den 1-2, which gives you a knockdown. Can they tech that? I can't remember. I know if it's a counter hit, they can't tech off the ground, so he definitely has guaranteed damage afterwards. Let me see. This might be guaranteed. Oh, wait. I think I had it wrong. Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you're not... You can hold back. But if you don't hold back, I'm pretty sure... Yeah. If you get hit by Den 1-2, you have to hold back to tech it. If not... Okay, yeah. If you don't tech after getting hit by Den 1-2, then anything that hits low on the ground is just guaranteed afterwards. So like he has down back 4. You could do dash up down 1+2, dynamic entry 2. So yeah, you definitely want to hold back when you get hit by that. So we have Den 1+2, Den 1-2, Den 1, Den 1+2. This is a screw move for his combos. For example, when he transitions into dynamic entry from one of his combos. But this move, it's like an underrated move in my opinion, because it's some decent range and it hits pretty far because dynamic entry like already closes the gap, and this is like another type of like gap closing type move. It's -10 on block, but the thing is that it's -10 but puts him in crouch. So you can't jab him. You can only do like a down jab, but most people don't know it's -10. I wouldn't encourage you to press after doing this, but if you want to be like cheeky with the opponent, you could do a whiff. Since like it puts you in crouch, you could do a whiff Den 1+2 into full crouch down 4-2, and it could hit. It could hit, or like into up 4-3, I guess, because up 4-3 can crush the opponent. But I mean, up 4-3 is long sponge. But you know, you can be kind of cheesy with it, but it's only going to work once out, in my opinion, against the opponent. I think it's like a once per set type of strat. We got Den 3. Wall splats, wall bounces, +4 on block, but even though it's +4, kind of pushes the opponent away. It's kind of like how Shaheen's running 2 in season 2 gave him plus frames, but it was like +6 on block, but the opponent's so far away you couldn't do anything afterwards. It's basically, this is what Lars Den 3 is. But one good thing about it is it realigns with the opponent when they take off the ground. So opponent position. Okay. So if I hit the opponent laying down, if you see your opponent just laying on the ground for whatever reason, hit him with dynamic entry 2, they tech, and Den 2, dynamic entry 2 realigns because, I guess because of the startup is so slow, it just realigns when they're teching at the same time. So a lot of times, I hit my opponent with Den 2, they eat plus frames, still my turn, even though I'm whiffing clearly right there. But if they want to press right there, they're going to eat whatever I throw out. But this is really good at the wall, because they can't go anywhere at the wall. Like, yeah, there's the separation, but at the you can sidestep, but there's not really, you can't really go anywhere. But this is a safe +4 wall bounce. I don't really throw this move out much in a neutral because it's so slow. I could, I just don't have the confidence in doing it, so that's just something I have to work with. But yeah, this move's pretty solid. I would definitely say like Lars' stance moves are they're all pretty good. I don't think any of these moves are bad, to be honest. They all serve a purpose, whether it be combos, whether it be just like catching an opponent off guard, because Den 1+2 has some like low-key tracking. I'm not sure which way it really tracks. I think it tracks to the left, but like it's a screw launcher on hit, on normal hit, so like You get like a mini combo out of it. It's okay. So you got plus frames, you got your screw move slash tracking move, you got your knockdown, you just got your frame advantage. It's a high, so like the opponent can duck the second hit or the first hit if they have the read. And then of course we got the big boy low, 34 damage, plus 2 on hit. Season 3 changed, used to be 0 last season. Their original move, this move originally was -5 on hit. So I never did this move. I would mostly just do 4-4-4 because this was +5 on hit. Like, I didn't really see the purpose of me. I understand it's 34 damage, but I didn't really see the purpose of me doing this move and then I'm giving up my turn. Like, there's plenty of characters that have bullshit to their move lists. So I thought like me doing this, getting 34 damage, and I couldn't be at least 0 on block. I mean 0 on hit. I thought it was dumb in season 1, so I never did the move. But now this move's fantastic because yes, they have room to work. They have wiggle room to work with after they get hit, so they can backdash, they can sidestep. But most of the time, if they want to press, they can only do moves that are 13 frames or 13 frame startup or better. If they want to interrupt me on most things, I think. Well, it depends on the move. I could just do this into jabs, obviously, and they can't interrupt it. But most of the time, I go for like back 1 in case they sidestep, because Lars tracking is like his biggest downfall of his whole entire like kit. So if I do back 1 after this, I mean, I can eat Magic 4, I could eat Lars 1-1-1 in a mirror match. I could eat. I think this will trade with Claudio 4-3 and Steve back 1. So you just have to be mindful of the matchup that you're playing and and the opponent's tendencies when they get hit by it. Like if you see the opponent doing nothing after they get hit by this, then you might as well just do it again. I mean, if you do, I mean, I sometimes I just do this. I do a jab. If I see that they're not doing anything after that, if my jab doesn't hit, then I start thinking, okay, he's respecting the frames, so that means I can do whatever I want afterwards. So sometimes you can be like really cheesy with it and just do the dynamic entry version of this, and then just do it from standing, because this is just forward 4. So it just depends on the reads that you think you have against the opponent. So yeah, that covers dynamic entry. So now we got silent entry. Silent entry, like I was saying before, I think Lars' stances, both stances are pretty great in general. Silent entry, we have silent entry 1. This is -10 on block, but most characters, it depends on the character if they can punish it properly or not. I don't think like Miguel can punish this with his 1-2, because it kind of has some pushback. Like you see that pushback? If I do Lars 1-2, like you're right there still, but like there's some pushback there when you do the move. I think it's more at the wall too, actually. Nah, it's the same. But like in technicality, like I know for a fact that Lars 1-2 jab can't punish this, but his 2-1 jab punishes it. So, oops, I messed up. Okay. Like the second hit whiffs, or the move just whiffs in general. But 2-1 always punishes it. So you just have to, if you're like labbing against Lars, you just have to figure out what 10 frame move in your character's move list properly punishes this. So yeah, silent entry 1's good. We have silent entry down forward 1, and this was probably like one of the biggest buffs he got outside his counter hits, because this used to be -4 on block and put the opponent in crouch. Now it's -4 on block. Now it's 0 on block and puts the opponent in crouch. So if you think the opponent's gonna press after you put them in crouch, just 1-1-1, because the fastest move from crouch, if they're not doing a down jab, is a while standing 4. So if they do while standing 4, you just hit them with 1-1-1. You do it at the wall to get wall splat. It's just it's the same routine with down 4-1 to 1-1-1 or dynamic entry 1 into 1-1-1. Same is the same strat. It's the same strategy. The only issue is that if you're gonna go for that and you put them in crouch, while standing moves will crush the first jab hit. So you have to be mindful of that, because you could get your ass blown up depending on the character. So, for example, I could up forward 3 if I have the read. I did the wrong move. I could do while standing 2-1. I could do his full crouch low because it high crushes. You know, so like, there's ways around it. You just have to be mindful of which character you're fighting, because I know, like, for example, Lily, one of her while standing launchers, crushes jabs. So if that happens, like, you know, you're going to get blasted for it. So just things to keep in mind when you're going for that. You have to really, it's all based on how your opponent's reacting to being put into crouch. And speaking of putting into crouch, like Lars down 2, it's like puts you in crouch and it's 0 on block. So down 2 and down forward 1, they're basically like the same concept of what your options are afterwards. So yeah, you just want to be mindful of that. Back to silent entry. So I talked about the down forward 1. I talked about the 1. Then we have the low. This got buffed in season 3. This is now +5 on hit. So for like the longest time, I was saying that this move was bad, but it was mostly because in season 1, the low startup was like 24 frame startup. So you were always seeing this. Like, opponents were always seeing this when you did the transition, but now it's like 19 frame startup. So this move's hard to see. So if they get hit by this, it's the same concept as hitting the opponent with down back 4, what your follow-ups are. So like you hit them with the low, down forward 2 to check to see if they're pressing. If they're not pressing, then you could do a low, you could do a side step into something. Like, you could just do whatever the heck you want, really, if you know the opponent's respecting the frames on hit afterwards. So yeah, there's that. Silent entry 3, it's okay. I mean, it's -14 on block, so you can get launched at times. You'll eat a pretty decent block punishment if the opponent can't launch you. But if the opponent, like, you can sidestep the silent entry strings, but like most people don't. I don't think people really lab Lars' stances that much. So if you're fighting someone that's just straight up guessing between low and mid, you could, like, you could go for silent entry 3, but like, for me, why would I do this, which is -14, when I could just go for a wall bounce that has some ridiculous range? Like, look how far that you get bounced from. I'd rather do the 10 frame move or the move that puts you in crouch and you're 0 on block, and it's +8 on hit. Like, you know, so like the move's good, but I just don't use it anymore, because if anything, I use it at the end of the combo. I need to have him approach me. Just a quick example of a combo. So, you know, that's like the only real time I do it. Like, after I do a combo, it lets me do a dynamic entry cancel into a full crouch mix-up. So, you know, I could do it like that, but I don't really use it just straight up in a neutral game. I see no purpose in it. And I think silent, yeah. And then he got the backlash in season 3. It's -10 on block. It's a high. It's slow, but like I was saying for the longest time that this move is just irrelevant, and I haven't really been using it that much, to be honest. But if you're just picking up the character, if you're fighting like guys that are like orange rank and below online, this move will blow their ass up because people that at that skill level, they like pressing. They like pressing a lot. So you could just literally do this, throw this out if you see that your opponent's just crazy with the buttons, and you're most likely going to launch for it. Or prime example of just being lame with the character. I hit him with the low, so I'm +5. They try pressing while standing 2 interrupts them, and then I could do while standing 2 into silent entry again. They're most likely going to panic, and when they panic you could just do it again. So basically the sequence would be like, and then the third time you hit them. I mean, if they were smart they would just duck, but most likely they're probably gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna hop kick them right here because I blocked while standing 2. But if they wait too long, they're gonna get launched for it. So you just have to, the only real way I think the backlash is viable is if you know your opponent's tendencies. So I wouldn't say this move's not cheap. It's a fair move in my opinion. You get decent damage from it. It's power crush, but against really strong players, it's probably not going to work that much. But you just have to mess around with it. It takes a lot of testing to see if the move's good or not. So that covers all his stance moves. I went through his punishment. I went through my mindset of playing the neutral game. I guess like another thing to mention, like he did get counter hit launchers, like back 2-1 counter hit launcher. You don't really see it counter hit launch that much, but just be mindful it counter hits. But the string in general is good. It's a delayable hit confirmable string. It's only -10 on block, so you could just like throw out back 2. It's -6, so you can't do anything afterwards except I guess a dig jab. Or just, I would just say, if you're going to do back 2, just block afterwards. Or if you think your opponent's just respecting the delays, if you think they're just respecting the delays and waiting to punish with a 10-frame punish, you could just do back 2 and try going for like a jabs or down forward 1. Just depends on if you have the read for it. So yeah, like, counter hit launches, but the only thing. But if you're going to launch the opponent afterwards, you have to immediately do dynamic entry 2. So just keep that in mind. If I can do key charge. So yeah, keep that in mind. I talked about 2-1-3 earlier. So like, yeah, 2-1-3 counter hit launches now. I don't really see it happen often, but at like lower skill levels, 2-1-3 will probably beat up a lot of opponents, and it's not really that risky. It's -13, so I mean, it's not every character in the cast have good 10-frame and 12-frame punishment, so just you can mess around with it. And of course, full crouch down 4-2. I mean, you could just, if you want to play the neutral like that, you could just throw this move out randomly, but I mean, you don't really get much out of it. It just depends on your play style, really. It's just like you have to experiment with it, but if you're going to see it connect on a hit, on counter hit, it's mostly going to happen from down back 4 into it, or the silent entry 2 into it. I would say they mostly made the move so the opponent can't mash on you after you go low. That's how I see the move. I'm not going to go over combos because there's plenty of combo videos on YouTube that covers Lars's combos. I didn't really talk about like his best. I don't think I talked about his launchers really. Like his launchers, we have Arc Blast and Orbital. Now Lars's Orbital is a pretty annoying move to deal with. It's very linear though. But if you're good at placing the move, this move will never whiff by sidesteps. When I fight some of my friends, it whiffs a lot because I just don't time it right. But this move is a pain to deal with. when I'm fighting Lars players online, this move hits me all the time. So like, yeah, orbital, safe, it's -8, so don't do anything after it gets blocked. But if you have the proper timing, just throw this move out. High it crushes lows, obviously, because he's in the air. It's just like a little slow, so you can get jab floated if you had the if your timing's not good. So like Arc Blast and Orbital are his best launchers. You have forward back 2-1, but use this only for block punishment. It's not worth throwing out straight up, because do you really want to give your opponent a free down forward 2 launch punish? I know I wouldn't. And I think that covers everything. I'm pretty sure that covers everything. I went over it. I talked about his pokes, block punishment, stances, neutral game plan, some launchers. I think that's gonna cover everything. But if you ever have any other questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at I think right now it's Lars Bayless, but you can just I think it's like at Buff Lars. So yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter. I have Discord. I'm on Facebook. So yeah, you can just hit me up anywhere really. You can comment on the bottom of this video. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later.